What is going on, YouTube? Pass the prop back here. Yet again, we are here talking MLB straight bets. I know Stu's got an NBA long shot, so we should be talking about that a little bit as well. Joined as always, Stu. How you been, man?
I've been pretty good. It was a good sports weekend. I mean, we had the NFL draft going into the weekend, obviously. We had some very good playoff basketball going on. I mean, some fantastic games in there. We had a good UFC card, just a good weekend of sports. So no complaints for me. Very much enjoyed a lot of I don't really bet as much, especially on Sundays. I just don't bet as much. So just watching sports, enjoying all the especially playoff basketball, and obviously my Nationals had a pretty crazy comeback yesterday as well. So good weekend of sports, and re-energized, ready to crush this week.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It was good. I watched a little bit of the UFC. I didn't watch a ton. Usually I'm on top of those. I did not watch a ton this weekend, but obviously did keep up with the draft. Seeing it's only an hour away from my place. I know a lot of people that were out there, so it was kind of crazy out here, but yeah, I'm excited to break down today's slate with you, and we can kind of recap how we did on the last couple.
Sounds good.
I will say this might be, if Gilbert would have got there, this would have made me mad, but this might have been the worst loss I've ever had on a guy in Kyle Hendricks, under 4 hits allowed. The dude gave up 6 runs and only gave up 3 hits. 2 hit by pitches, 5 walks. You're throwing 86, bro, in the bigs. You can't be walking that many dudes. I could not believe what I was watching. I'm like, this is easy, bro. This is done. I look at the score, it's 6 runs, and I'm like, all right, we're good. And then I look at it, and I'm like, 3 hits, bro? 3 hits? I think he had 10 total base runners on 3 hits. That is absolutely absurd.
Yeah. And I mean, a whole big part of your analysis was which I agreed with, was he's walked a shit ton of people this year, and he never has really historically done it that much. So it's probably going to get some regression, and then no, just the complete opposite. Unfortunately, like you said, Gilbert just fucked that whole night up for me, at least. Gilbert and Jimmy Butler getting injured on the same day so it switched my week from positive to negative. So shout out to those guys. The double-decker injury really killed me with that one.
Yeah, no, I was very heavy on Gilbert. And I mean, obviously DFS as well. But yeah, that was a tough one to lose. As he, goes down with the injury. I think he definitely had a no-hitter. I don't know if he had a perfect game through 6 or through 3 and just 29 pitches, 3 Ks, and then just leaves. I'm like, damn, dude, damn. Hopefully it's just a 1 rotation skip. I saw he's on the DL already. I'm like, fuck. Just hopefully he's good to go.
Yeah, I had Gilbert strikeouts. I had to get a win, and I had outs as well as strikeout part. I literally played every single over for him, and it was looking so good. And then just randomly get that underdog notification pulled. So that was tough, but it is what it is. Can't control injuries, obviously.
Yeah, it was. Bucks had a good day today. That day for sure. I know. I don't believe Lindor got there either.
I think the Mets got shut out on this game. I wasn't watching.
Oh, it was 5-4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was a real rough start to the game. At least I caught the beginning. It was
3-0, and then I'm pretty sure they scored in the 8th.
Mm-hmm.
And took the lead, right? And then you guys walked him off with CJ Abrams.
Gotcha. Yeah, I missed the cool ending to the game. I just watched the rough beginning, unfortunately. But yeah, no dice for Lindor on this one. Did not go over. So I don't think he had a hit in this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was a tough game, and I think only 3 different Mets had a hit, or I think 3 or 4. I think. So they were all doing the whole damage there. So I think that's the first reverse sweep of the year in MLB. I know you've been obviously mostly on NBA anyway, so this is probably one of your first ones there. But yeah, I know we didn't put it on the show, but I know you ended up cashing your Seahawks bet there. I know we didn't have it officially on the comments or in our tracked one because we took the Saints. But I do know that you talked about it on the show. I wish I would have typed it up too, but it was tough.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just so informal. It almost would have felt a little bad. Like, you could only really bet on, like, FanDuel, like, no one else was really had the balls to put, like, the day two markets up. It was literally just Milrow and, like, Scatabo. It was just the two big names, so did get Milrow right there. If anyone did cash, shout out to you guys for tuning in till the end right there, because obviously I did, like you said, I touchdown it at the end. But yeah, I mean, it was just too predictable. I didn't get that number at all. I mean, he should have been like the third favorite to go there. It would have been like the Rams would have been the other team because they had a top 30 visit with him and Stafford's on his way out. The Rams traded out and then traded back up for another guy. So it's like, okay, it's not going to be them. Or even when they did trade out, it was like to 42 or something. It would have been real hard to even get him. And then people thought the Raiders were going to take a QB. And that was the thing the market really got messed up because Pete Carroll is 70 years old. Like, they've had no talk of getting a quarterback. So they messed up on that one. Seahawks, they got Sam Darnold, but I mean, what is Sam Darnold, right? Like, the whole world was ready to give up on him after the playoffs last year. So Milrow hopefully gets a good chance to develop, hopefully can improve on like everything related to football, and maybe he'll be good in a little while. Who knows? I could definitely see it. He's got a crazy deep ball and probably the best quarterback runner I can ever remember betting on, honestly. Like, for college props, I can't think of a single more dependable running guy than Milrow. So if he can put that together, I'm rooting for it, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and it was tough because obviously the Saints drafted Shaw right away there, and it kind of threw a wrench in it, dude. I can't believe it, dude, that they went that route. I was very surprised they went that route, especially with Derek Carr, there. And I mean, I guess you think he's going to be done soon to draft a 26-year-old quarterback. Rookie that you think that he'll develop quicker because he's older. I don't know, but I'm not going down my thoughts of what the Saints are fucking doing with their stuff.
To me, yeah, that says that Carr's like maybe not going to be ready for this year or something, because they draft the only guy that, like, in theory could walk in sooner and be ready just because he's been in college for 7 fucking years. He barely even played because of all the injuries and stuff, but that would be, I guess, the logic that, like, Milrow could not step in and play. That would be like a shit show. Milrow needs to sit on the bench for like a year and a half, 2 years, So I think that's, I guess, the logic. But drafting him at 40 is just crazy. I mean, a guy, once again, you'd think in 7 years of college, like, the average fan would even know of the guy or think he's, ever done anything good. I think it's just simply like, this class sucks. It sucks so bad that there's a guy that's 6'4" and throws bombs down the field and is kind of fast, that they're like, fuck it, we'll take this guy. I mean, it's the same logic as Milrow pretty much, except Milrow at least did some kind of cool things over time. But you're just drafting tools, so good luck to the Saints. It's such a Saints pick. Like, you just laughed when you see it. You go like, oh yeah, of course the Saints are a team that sucks and isn't going to be good for like 3 years because of their cap situation, is drafting a 26-year-old rookie quarterback. Like, of course they are. So good luck to them. Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for the Saints fans out there. It's rough, but they did get, I think, Devin Neal they got at the end. I love that pick. So if you're looking for a deep sleeper, no running backs outside of like Kamara there. I mean, man, Kamara gets injured every year. I love Neal as like a deep sleeper. Probably like last round best ball kind of guy right now. Love that pick. So hopefully he can ball out a little bit.
All right, well, let's. I do see we have a question NBA. I might just have you do your long shot early, and you can kind of talk about the games today, and then we'll get into MLB, seeing as we both have straight bets there. So, anything you want to talk about? I feel like these games are kind of shit today, but that might just be me. I'd rather watch the Houston game for sure, but barely hitting 200 total in that game. Yeah, these ones have been interesting so far.
Yeah, I mean, today, like you said, isn't great. I will say some of these weekend games are awesome. Anthony Edwards versus the Lakers yesterday was awesome. I mean, truly one of the better ones I can remember. Edwards just stepping up 3 after 3. I was rooting for the Lakers in the series just because I kind of think like Lakers Warriors is the best for the NBA, star power, all that, just viewership. But Edwards making the case that like this guy's as pretty close to the face of the NBA as you can get. I mean, the theatrics, talking shit, everything about it. Then he goes right in the interview after the game, thanks all of his teammates. Like, I thought like he handled it the right way. Like, he doesn't take credit. He talks shit, but he's giving credit to everyone else. So just becoming a bigger fan of Anthony Edwards. Shout out to those guys. That was a sick game right there. So wanted to shout that out. I do agree. Looking at today's slate, unfortunately, I don't think it's great. I think the Cavs win. I think people are holding on hope that the Heat can extend the series, but we talked very briefly before the game. There's no Darius Garland last game. That was your chance to strike, and instead you get blown out to the point where even like the 15th guy is playing for the Cavs. They're getting like Tyson minutes, That's never a good sign in the playoffs when like the third unit's getting minutes. So when that happens, I think that signifies the series is over. I think Cleveland money line is probably a pretty good parlay piece tonight. Because it's only 8.5. It's been like 13 in some of these games as well. He put up a good fight, good defensive team. They're just not good enough to win. So I don't know. I'm not super hyped for that game. And then Rockets Warriors, that'll be a better game. But just like the Rockets have been brutal to watch. Like they can't score. And when you can't score, like they're like the West Coast Magic with like sexier names, but you can't win a playoff series against a team with Steph Curry like that. It's just like other worse teams that don't have an elite level scorer. You can make it ugly, you can make it grimy. You can probably steal some wins. You just can't do that against a Steph Curry team. It's unfortunate. He breaks the laws of physics, and you're gonna have to deal with that. So I do not have much confidence for the Warriors, for the Rockets for the rest of the series. They retool, get him next year, get some scoring, but I'm sad I missed the one Fred VanVleet good game. I wouldn't count on that to continue. I'm not going to bet on that guy anymore this series. I think Warriors probably win that one, but I hope the Rockets win just to extend it and make it more interesting. But there's just not enough scoring. I don't know how you could, feel confident moving forward when Steph Curry's on the other side. And now Jimmy Butler potentially back in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, no, it's tough. I don't know. I think I might lean the Rockets just because I'm getting points in a game with a 200 fucking total.
I agree with that.
Like that's so low, and I can get like 4.5 points. I don't know. I obviously know they're at home and everything there, but they snuck one out, 2-1, right? Man, this one you kind of have to get right to kind of even up the home spot. We got our Professor Thomas in here. Hello, guys. Very chalky bet, but going to the well again with Davion Mitchell. Points assists. Usage rate is ridiculous. Even if he struggles, his defense will keep him on the court. Any thoughts on this one? I haven't bet Davion Mitchell since a couple months ago. So,
yeah, I can't hate it. He's getting the job done. I like it. It's like you said, it's kind of popular. The hit rate is like good, and it's not moving, which is always kind of scary, right? To get a line that's like the hit rate's good, but everyone kind of knows, like it's not a surprise, you know what I mean? So the books feel comfortable with their number, even knowing that he's going to play a shit ton and all that. And he's not the best offensive player in the world, but he's been great this series. I've really enjoyed seeing Davion. I didn't know if he was going to hit that next level because I was a big fan of him even as a backup. And I didn't know if he was given the opportunity, if he could be like a legit real role player in a playoff team, like contribute major minutes. I think he proved he 100% can. He just needs to be surrounded with a little bit more offense. And that's the story of this Heat team, that there's not enough, which is why a guy like Davion is scoring 12 a game. So I don't mind it. I would play points at like 11.5. I think that's a good look right there. But yeah, I'm not like running to bet Davion just because it's his defense that does keep him out there. But the line is what it is for a reason, and I'm just scared of that game, man. I'm just kind of worried the Heat are done, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but mentality does play a big part of it. And I'm kind of worried, like last game would have been the chance and they just got stomped, and I don't know how you come back from that and, try to keep it going. So I think series probably over. I'm not running to bet Davion, but I do like the number and he's been very good. I've been very happy to see him hit that next level.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get to your long shot here, Stu, and then we'll just talk MLB the rest of the time.
Sounds good. Perfect. We got Sengun over 25.5 points, plus 340 on FanDuel. It should be around that on pretty much every single book. Over this number in one of the games this series, I believe it was the first game that started out. What I like is Sengun, and I like his regular points today too. I just think like 25. I thought about leading scorer for a minute, then I remembered, no, I don't want to mess with Steph Curry. Never mind, that's stupid. But like Sengun, the volume's been good all series. And if you've been watching this game, sure, he goes up against Draymond. That's one of the worst matchups possible. They're giving him one-on-one in the paint with Draymond anytime Sengun wants it. Like, they're going to give him it any single time. And when you look at the Rockets, They're not making transition buckets. They're not making spot up threes. Jalen Green isn't carrying the load. So even though Sengun post up one-on-one isn't your best look in like the general sense of things, that's not something, if you're a coach, you want to attack Draymond one-on-one. No single coach in the league is trying to do that. But when you can't do shit, and when you can't score, and when you have that one-on-one with arguably your best player available to you pretty much every opportunity, it's got to keep playing out. Like, you're going to keep seeing that volume. He's pretty much been at like 17, 18 shot attempts every single time. He only went 1 for 6 from the free throw line last game, which is why you saw a little bit of a dip. He needs to obviously make his free throws if they want any chance here. But if he's going to shoot 18 times, if he's going to keep getting aggressively to the paint, I'm just going to have to keep banking that if the Rockets win one of these games, it's because Sengun goes off doing that. Because it's either that, or when you think about it logically, and I said this at the beginning of the series and why I couldn't actually pull the trigger, is because I realized like Jalen Green just has to do really well in this series. Like, someone has to take that spot up scoring, someone has to create their own bucket and get the job done. And when I thought about it more and more, I was like, oh shit, Jalen Green is the name, and I just don't trust that at all. And I feel that same way tonight. Like, Jalen Green had that one good game where he scored a bunch of points. That's possible tonight. But when in my head, when I go, what's more likely to happen? Is it going to be Sengun just keeps on winning those one-on-one matchups in the paint? They keep on feeding him, or Jalen Green has a really good, spark shooting night? I just rather bet on the Sengun. Because even if Jalen Green does have a good night, once again, we're going to see Sengun one-on-one in the paint available to them whenever they want it. So I just think the upside's good there. I like his regular points prop at 18.5. It's getting more juiced up as the day goes. And I understand why, but I just think if you think the Rockets are going to win, it's kind of their last hurrah. I think if they lose this game, it's really rough, to go down 3-1 like that. So I think it's obviously must-win territory right here. And when you have arguably your best player always going to have that shot opportunity in the paint, I just think they have to. I think they're just going to go. And Draymond's going to get the best of them. He's going to win some of them. It'll be a battle. It's not an easy matchup there. But I just think the volume is going to win out here. And I don't trust other guys like Jalen Green to take away the pressure. The one other guy I want to shout out, Jabari Smith Jr. I love Amen Thompson. I've been rooting for Jabari Smith Jr. to hit the bench all year. This guy needs to be playing 30 minutes a game. He's the only guy that looks really good out there. Jabari Smith on defense, on offense, they don't have a pure size match for him at all in the Warriors. It would have to be Draymond Green, and you're obviously not doing that. You have other guys to worry about. They don't Jimmy Butler would be the closest other guy to guard him right there. And he's obviously going to be at a 4-inch disadvantage. Jabari, you got to find more minutes for Jabari Smith. He's playing 24, 25. He's got to be at 30. So my one other thing, I like Sengun, but I think Jabari Smith 3 threes is plus 480. And I think he's only hit that in one game of the series. It was last game, but you got to get this guy more minutes. I don't see how that's possible that he's not at 30 minutes tonight, just because the way he's been playing this series. To me, he's kind of clearly stood out as arguably one of the best, at least role players on their team. So shout out Jabari Smith. I think he's the next in line for people I like tonight as well.
So I guess who would you sit there? Who would you pull out for him?
It's kind of the tough thing. I think Amen is live, and I think the thing that Jabari benefits from is because these guys are positionless. Both Brooks and Amen are elite foul trouble targets. So if either one of those guys gets into high level foul trouble, he kind of instantly steps in there. I don't think Steven Adams necessarily needs to play 25. I appreciate the tough rebounding he gives you. But I think the finesse scoring is more important. I'd rather just go Sengun or Jabari Smith small ball lineups as well. So I would even take up 5 minutes away as well, because you can play small against the Warriors. Everybody does that. So I think not only Thompson and Brooks, you could steal minutes from foul trouble, but also backup big minutes. But just with how he's playing, he's got to get in there more. I agree it's hard to do, and it's hard to say. I think Thompson's probably the guy that would have to get taken away a little bit, because I don't think they're going to take Dylan Brooks away with the defense. But both those guys get in foul trouble almost every game. Brooks fouled out last game. So that's obviously kind of naturally live to get you some extra points there.
Yeah, dude, I definitely would probably lean a little bit more with the Adams call myself, just because, they don't really have, Looney doesn't play that much either. So they're kind of hit or miss on even when they play the guy. So Let's switch over to some MLB. We got a decent slate, nothing crazy, smaller for a weekday. Any game specifically you want to talk about before we kind of get into our bets?
Yeah, I mean, the one that I don't have a bet on that I'm excited for that I need to find some bets on is this Yankees Orioles game. This Sugano guy, I've bet on him in every one of his starts so far, and I've had good success. He doesn't strike anybody out at all. Like, I think he might actually have the worst strikeout percentage in the league, and you're going up against the fucking Yankees after he's had like the Nats, a couple like non-home run teams whatsoever. Like, oh my God. I don't know how to fade him yet, but like, man.
I'll talk about it here in a sec. But
oh, you got something in this game?
Yeah.
And I think, that game to me just seems like fireworks. So that's why I wanted to bring that one up. But yeah, that's all. The only game that I don't have a bet on that I'm really hyped for is that one.
Yeah, and I can kind of talk about it. I have both of these bets at regular prices, but I do like the plus money at the buy down, and I'm gonna be rolling with the Yankees over 7.5. And also I'm going to be fading Corbin. I feel like everybody's been trying to fade Corbin, right? And they've been fading him in these matchups that, like, they're not great. Obviously, we're just fading because we think Corbin sucks, which probably does. But dude finally figured out my slider is my best pitch, but I'm throwing it 60% of the time. So people are picking up on that. And when I look at it, it's down to 30-something percent, 38%. And I think that's big for him, right? Unfortunately, here I do not like this matchup at all, right? I'll talk a little bit about Sears before I get into the depth of Patrick Corbin, but Sears not great, man. He really hasn't been great. I haven't been very impressed. What I will say is he's given up barrels. His barrel percentage is pretty high, but I will say he has done a lot better in terms of walks. And that's kind of what killed him, is he never could go past 5 innings. Right now is the lowest walk rate of his career, just barely over 5% walk rate in these spots. Heading over to Oakland, too, Oakland is one of the top teams in terms of WRC plus against left-handed pitching. Oakland is ranked 4th with a 128 WRC plus against left-handed pitching. They don't walk at all, but they don't strike out either. And then just kind of looking at Corbin's numbers, another guy with a regression coming. He's got almost a 5 expected ERA compared to 3.77 actual. He's walking more guys than he ever has. He's striking out less guys than he ever has. It's just kind of, when is it going to happen? And I think this is the game. I really do. This is, a guy relying heavily on the cutter now. He's switching that up. That cutter is up to 25% versus 19% last year. And if we're going up against this A's team that, isn't striking out against lefties, and you don't strike anybody out, and now you're going to have to deal with, Rooker, you're going to have to deal with Langoliers, right? You're going to have to deal with all these guys who have a ton of pop in this lineup that, you're not going to be missing bats with. I mean, even Lawrence Butler has done a lot better against lefties this year, at least in the small sample size, than he has in his career. And this lineup just has gotten a lot longer, too. Like, you got Wilson playing very good at the shortstop position. Wait till Geloff comes back, and he can actually continue to play in here instead of Schulman. But this is a deep lineup, man. This is a good lineup. I know there's quite a few lefties in here. I'm not going to the strikeouts. I feel like that one is the most bet thing I've ever seen, has been this under 4.5 Ks, because they're just going to say the A's have been good against lefties and don't strike out that much. But this kind of screams like a game where he gives up a ton of pop and finds a way to get like 5 or 6 Ks, like sneak out the end like he always does. I don't know how he does it, but he always, I feel like, gets you on the last at bat. He's gotten me quite a few times in that when I bet his unders, and I've learned my lesson. So I'm going to take the Oakland first 5 plus 1.5. They're giving me a minus 220. I think that's a great parlay piece for me, even if I do get one snuck by me at the top spot. I think a tie in the first 5 is something that's kind of live for me as well. I don't really like this Rangers team at all. Their bats have been terrible against lefties. They're not great. They're not bad, but they're, nowhere close to how good the A's have been against left-handed pitching. They have a 26% K rate and only an 86 WRC plus. Going over to the Yankees side, and I was looking up at your guy. So I know you've been mentioning him quite a few times on the show. I think it's Sugano. I'm not impressed at all, bro. Like, I think this dude sucks. I mean, he is one of the highest ERA to expected ERA switches that I've ever seen. This is almost pushing 3 runs. And now you're going to not miss bats. He has an 8% K rate against the Yankees. Fuck, dude. I mean, good luck. I mean, that's really all I can say. They have a 128 WRC plus. They rake everybody. This team has been really, really good no matter where they are. It doesn't matter if they're home or road. Obviously, do I wish they were at home? Yes, for the smaller park. But I think if this game was in Yankee Stadium, it's a 10.5 total. And that is something that is absolutely crazy in a regular season game here. We've talked about the Orioles as well and their struggles against lefties. Well, that is completely opposite against righties. These guys are both 2 of the top 5 teams in WRC plus against right-handed pitching. Both these teams around 22 to 23% K rate, respectively. But also OPS almost 800 for the Yankees against righties, 758 for the Orioles. This is the first time in a while I haven't taken the first 5, right, either. But you also have Devin Williams at the back of him. The Brewers shipped him. He kind of was starting to fall apart. He's the worst reliever in baseball right now. Like, you don't have a closer. They paid Devin Williams closer money. Bro, he's not a closer right now. He's got over a 10 ERA, dude. Like, it is crazy. So I think that's something also to bring up. And also, you like seeing Adley from the left side. You like seeing Ryan O'Hearn in this lineup. And honestly, I know Will Warren has been getting a ton of hype and everything as one of the top prospects for the Yankees. And I get it. He's got good stuff, but, he's still a prospect facing, probably the best prospect system here. I mean, you're getting to face Holiday. Adley is probably back today. Like I said, Ryan O'Hearn. I love when they face righties because you get Ryan O'Hearn. He's got an 11% walk rate, dude. Like, I can't do that against this Orioles team at home. You got, like I said, 2 of the top 5 OPS or WRC plus teams against right-handed pitching. And both the bullpens have been okay. I mean, the Yankees are just deep because they have everybody and they have all the money, but they don't have a closer. And you still can kind of see the rust on Batista a little bit as well, coming off that long-term injury. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a fun game. 5:35 start, so that's going to be a little bit earlier.
No, I really like the combo. Yeah, I'm glad. I didn't know I was teeing you up for your play right there with that, but I'm fully with it. I definitely need some exposure to the overs because, yeah, I mean, I wrote up his over for a Sugano against Washington, right? I had 15.5 outs last week at plus 130, and it even moved, I think, to plus 150 by the end. For me, I just didn't get it, right? Because the Nationals are a team that, like, so if you give us soft contact, we're going to take it. Like, if you're throwing strikes, the Nationals will put that ball in play. They don't strike out. They don't take a lot of pitches. So the 9% K rate, like, doesn't really worry that much because the power, like, isn't that scary. Like, you can not miss bats and succeed against Washington. So for me, I was like, that's easy. When I opened my app and I saw it was the Yankees tomorrow, that was the matchup. The way through this lineup is you got to get swings and misses. And it's 8%, like you said. It's like, and the guy never struck out anyone overseas either, by the way. He was always a contact guy. Like, it's not like this is a new thing for him. He's just not a strikeout guy. He doesn't have strikeout stuff. So, yeah, I think the Yankees might score 10 runs themselves against him today. Like, I don't know. That he's going to have the start of a lifetime to get through that lineup. Or, like, a lot of deep fly balls caught, those home run percent in whatever ballpark tweets that piss everyone off, like that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm fully with it. I think, and like you said, the Orioles against righties is just the recipe for disaster or for success. Lefties disaster this year. So like the over at bunch, definitely going to be with you.
I think it's crazy too when you're in actually a park that doesn't do well for power, at least for home runs. The Yankees have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys less than plus 600 to hit a home run today.
Yeah.
In a park that doesn't, you're not like in Coors, right? It's not like something like that, but that is absurd to me, man, that you can see that amount of volume guys with that number. And, Bellinger doesn't strike out much. He's been really, really good in that. Judge is at a plus 170, bro, for a bomb today. Fuck. Damn, dude, it's going to be crazy. It should be an interesting game. I just can never justifiably bet a plus 170 home run. That just fucking baffles me.
Yeah, no, me neither. I'm fully with it. But yeah, maybe a Bellinger home run or something, taking advantage of one of these other guys out there.
Yeah, Bellinger plus 800. That kind of feels like a look to me. He's not one of the top guys of the six. I think it's Rice, Grisham, Goldschmidt, Wells, and Chisholm. Obviously, Judge in his own category. So
Chisholm could be good too, honestly. I want guys that are just swinging for the fences and won't like double or anything, because he's going to give you strikes. So I want someone just fly ball swinging for the fences, So
yeah, you kind of want to avoid the righties as well in that park with the new upgrades to the left field pole going deeper. But all right, Stu, you are up. I cashed this guy yesterday, or Saturday, so I'm all in with this guy.
Sounds good. Yeah, he went from like someone that was like one of my favorite under the radar hit parlay guys last year to now like not under the radar anymore. Hitting 359 on the season. That makes him third in the league so far when you look at against right-handed pitching, 392. What I like about Donovan, he kind of popped up. The reason I started betting him hit parlays last year, and most of the guys that you hear me talk about that I bet on a lot, he's not necessarily a guy that's out there like swinging for the fences. He's a line drive, doubles, gap, kind of making good contact hitter. And I like guys that put the ball in play because when you're betting hit parlays, it doesn't get you much good. I want like as much contact as possible. And that's why I started popping up last year as a target and was successful. But this year it's just been on a different level. It's just been a full-on upgrade. He had a little bit of a mini injury, and then he came in your Brewers series, went 3 out of 3 with 2 doubles, so hit this in every one. There's no real concern for any of that injury stuff bothering him right here. And, I mean, for me, it's as pretty pure of a matchup as you can get against Nick Martinez. When you go a little bit deeper, I've been fading Nick Martinez. I'm on his under 17.5 outs again. This week, I told you I played it last week in Marlins Park. I would argue Marlins Park probably the best possible park for him to play in. One of the best park team matchups you can get. He still went under 17.5 outs. Now he goes back to his home ballpark, Great American Small Park, which is really not suited for his style of pitching. I think he's one of those guys that would probably have better stats if he was playing for a different team. But unfortunately, that's not the case. 0-2 at home, 7 earned runs already. I believe 3 home runs in those 2 starts at home. I see a lot of upside at the top of this. I'm surprised we're getting a good number for hits, runs, RBIs. It's minus 120 right now. I might have sent you the wrong one. Minus 120 on 365, minus 125 on DraftKings. I thought this would be minus 140, minus 150 range because the top of that order, you're getting some good run and RBI upside because he's been either in the 2 or the 3 hole all year. It's looking like 3 hole against right-handed pitching is going to be the move for him going forward. That's what we just saw last series. You get Nootbaar and Contreras in front of you. You get Arenado and Gorman behind you. And Martinez is a guy that struggled in particular with lefties. 275 average, 350 or 559 slugging so far in the season. Then my favorite part about this, when you look at what pitches Martinez relies on the most, he's hitting you with the 4-seam, changeup, and cutter combos. Very heavy on the changeups and cutters to left-handed batters. Those are by far Martinez or Donovan's best pitches in his career. His best pitch has always been the changeup. If you look at run value every single year, he crushes cutters above 330 against both of those pitches this year and last year. The 4-seam fastball he just average against, but it's not like Martinez is an above average fastball or anything. So I love it. Great pitch splits, literally best possible pitch splits you get when a guy perfectly lines up with the opposing pitcher's most frequent pitches. He's on a heater right now. He's 3rd in the league in freaking batting average. I think they're just slow in catching up. When a guy doesn't have a big name or something like that, he should be in the minus 140, minus 150, pay serious juice kind of range. And he's just not there yet. So we're going to take advantage in a good matchup tonight.
Yeah, no, I'm always worried almost on numbers like these. You know what I'm saying? It just feels so good. Yeah. This almost scares me a little bit. I think for me, I definitely like having them in my hit parlays, bro. I love them in hit parlays. This dude has been really, really good. Not only with just the hard hit, but even if you want to dig into expected batting average, expected slugging, he's been everything you want. And then you just look at it why the fuck are they giving me this number in Great American? Yeah. That's the only thing. And it's not even anything I can give you statistically. It's just how the fuck are you giving me this? Like, that's the only thing that can scare me off, because obviously, I've been betting him as well. The dude doesn't strike out. He really hasn't walked at all this year. Like, so I feel like everything is kind of adding up, but like, this just screams like he has to get 2 runs scored. Like, you could just see him walking twice because he has it, and it's just like his numbers there. And then he scores 2 runs, and you're like, "Fuck yeah!" He didn't get a hit, but he got the 2 runs, something like that, or like a sac fly because he doesn't strike out. It just kind of screams like one of them isn't hitting, and I could feel like it could be the hit, but he'll still get the runs and RBIs and still hit this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and I do get what you mean. Like, my thing, I would be more spooked out, once again, if it was a bigger name. Like, if I open my app and you see, like, just a classic, like, high-end Tatis in a great matchup, and then you look in Tatis, then I'm like, well, what the hell? Because he's normally 2.5. Donovan has never really been priced at that level. So for me, I think it's more just sports books when they set numbers, unless there's huge volume coming in to change it. They rely on priors. They heavily rely on, large data sets that go back a decent amount of time. And I just don't think there's been enough, like, either betting volume or like consensus hype to like push Donovan's numbers that high. But I agree, it's like a good value number. It definitely stands out. But my counter would be, I do feel you, and there are props that get me to have that same feeling, but it's normally the name value thing, because I've also had a number of times where I'm like, they haven't caught up. Am I missing something? Like, maybe they and then it's like, no, they just haven't caught up yet. So I'm going to hope it's one of those situations, and even better in Great American Small Park.
Yeah, I kind of like that RBI plus 175. That seems kind of crazy. That just seems kind of crazy when I kind of expect that. Like, that kind of feels like the one of the things that's going to hit you here, because they're giving me plus 130 on the run. Like, I definitely would lean the RBI in this position, dude, especially with the home run equity in this park. So let's get a quick recap, and then if we can get ourselves out of here. We got 25 you guys in here live. I got to check how many likes we got. Let's get at least a 15 before we get out of here, guys. If you could hit that like button, it really helps us out. And we'll recap here. I'm playing the Yankees over 7.5 with Oakland first 5 plus 1.5 at plus 101 on DraftKings. And Stu will take the next 2. He's got 2 spots for you.
Sounds good. In the MLB, we got Brendan Donovan over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs minus 120. Yeah, play that to minus 130. Then we got a long shot in the NBA. We got Sengun over 25 points, plus 340 over on FanDuel. Big fan of a little bit of Sengun ladder tonight.
I love it, man. I love it. I think it should be good. I think, like I said, I think if I'm going to bet anything in that game, I might just be the Rockets at the 4.5 line with a fucking 200 total. God damn. And it still went under the last couple games. So anything else from you, Stu, before we get out? With the 25 that are still here joining us on their Monday afternoon.
Yeah, no, appreciate you guys hopping in. We got, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Make sure you leave a like. I should have a newsletter with some MLB props up in a minute after this as well. And yeah, make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment. We love seeing the comments. We love the questions. So if you got one and you weren't here with us live, we still will get to that. Just drop it below. And yeah, hopefully we cash some tickets. Hopefully keep up the momentum today.
Yeah, I feel like we're pretty good getting to stuff late, even if we, if you guys send it in a little bit later. Usually pretty decent at getting to those. We got 11 likes. So again, if you guys are in here, hit that up to 15. Hopefully we get you guys some winners here today. Looking to improve on our MLB numbers there, 14-9, 9.51 units for you guys within the first month and a half of baseball. So feeling good about where we're at. We're almost into the month of May. Hopefully the weather gets a little warmer here. I think today is the first 70 I have seen here in Wisconsin. We don't get that too much this early. So appreciate you guys as always. Again, hit that like button on the way out. Be back on Wednesday. Make sure you're following us over on Twitter. Know when we're going live, just because Wednesday is kind of the, that day that kind of gets us. It's the one that, MLB has the travel days and everything throughout the week. So we'll try our best to get you guys plays earlier if we need to with an early slate. So appreciate you guys. Best of luck tonight, and we'll catch you on Wednesday.